Did I tell you guys the story about the time I got punched in the face and I got deja vu and it confused me and I got punched in the face some more? I went to I was in boot camp and at the beginning of our hand-to-hand combat training, they paired us up. And they have these like mini boxing rings set up, right? So it's not like a full boxing ring. I mean, when I say boxing ring, what I mean is if you're standing with your back against your side of it and the other person is standing with their back against the other side of the ring, like there's maybe 2 feet between you. Like you could reach out and touch the other person. It's tight. And they're like these stalls, these cubicles. And they don't give you the puffy boxing gloves, right? The big ones like you see in boxing. They're more like the little kickboxing ones, the thinner ones. And I remember they lined us up and then in 2x2s, okay? And then they paired you off with another person. And I remember the guy who I got paired off against was like a quiet guy. And I figured out what was going on when they lined us up 2x2. I was like, this guy's definitely going to be the person that I'm fighting. And I'm happy about this because he was like 2 bunks over. And he was like about my build. I'm like, I'm not going to have to fight some fucking mountain, right? So we get ready to go into my cubicle with this guy. And we both take our shirts off. Now, at the time, I was still 5'7.5", but I was about 135 pounds, okay? But not the type of 135 pounds that kind of has a six-pack. It was kind of like that 135 pounds where it's just mostly like in your thighs and in your balls. You got a little bit of fat, like a little bit of meat on you, obscuring the definition of your six-pack. This guy takes his fucking shirt off. Washboard abs. Do you know what feathering is? You know what like feathering is for like musculature? Like he had feathering on his shoulders, right? His skin was like super fucking tight. This guy was cut. Like fucking cut. He had those pecs. He had those pecs that like double under. I'm not talking gyno pecs, but like the skin was so taut, right? And his pecs were so pronounced that it was like a ridge. And I was like, oh fuck. Why? So I get in the ring and we're standing there and we put the mouthpiece in and you have like this weird like head thing on that doesn't really protect the front of your face very well. And I remember they hit the bell. It's like ding. And then we look at each other for a minute. Our hands are up and then we just start throwing fists, right? And it's like we land a couple hits. Suddenly this guy hits me. Okay, I don't even know what hand it was with because I don't really remember. Here's what I remember. I remember getting hit. I remember my head going back. I remember seeing stars, and I had deja vu. And you guys have experienced deja vu before, where like you think that you've been there before. That feeling that you've been there, but there's like a second or two where your brain is like not really like, am I here? Have I been here? Like your brain is trying to figure out like what the fuck is happening. And I had that like 2-second like deja vu stun while I was seeing the stars. And it was just enough for this guy. He like landed 2 more shots on my head and I landed on the ground. And I don't remember walking in on wood chips, but I remember the smell of wood chips when my head hit the floor in this tiny little ring. Now you also have to remember because the ring... Can you guys hear me? And that's how I won the fight against that guy who was an absolute fucking monster. Oh my god. You missed 80% of the story? Are you fucking kidding me? So I don't look at chat when I tell stories because I lose my train of thought. I literally got to the end of that story and looked up because I assumed there was going to be poggies. Like everybody was going to be big poggies and emoting and going nuts. But then I noticed...
Fuck y'all! God
God damn it. Whiskins gets it. Sawstar smell wood chips, lags out, and that's how I want. No fucking way, guys. That was such a good story.